doesn't have to be this way, you know? You don't have to be alone. You know, there was a time where I would have agreed with you. Well, I relapsed. I went about, I want to say like 2.5 months without any marijuana. But I was miserable. And it's like the minute I had some more, everything got better. It's weird, I always assumed that drugs would make my life worse. But, you know, maybe they did. Maybe I was happier even before I started the channel. I would go back, I would watch my old videos sometimes. This is what I've been doing these past few nights. And like, you know, last year, a year before that, I would have watched these videos and been like, man, these are works of art. They have a lot of sentimental value to me. Now I'm just watching them like, man, this guy's a fucking loser. But like, not in a way that's like, oh, screw him. It's just more in a way like I want him to be better. You know, I want to tell him that, you know, things can change for the better, and he doesn't have to feel like this is his only option to continue just this self-destructive, isolating behavior. Actually go talk to people. And he never ended up doing that. You know, like my real name isn't Zane. Like, I'll just say that. Obviously, it's a pseudonym. I remember I had a friend named Zane and back in elementary school, but it was spelled regular. It was like Zayn. He was this Greek kid, actually. He wasn't like Indian, but yeah, he's probably for a long time my only friend. You know, my parents would, you know, send me over to his house, or you know, he'd have his parents send him over to our place. We'd have like play dates and sleepovers sometimes. I never slept over at his place, he mostly just slept over at mine. And, eventually we stopped hanging out because my parents thought he was a bad influence. It was back in, like, middle school. Like, said the N-word and stuff. Like, yeah. But, yeah, that's where I got the name. Since then, since I moved away from that school, I made a couple more friends after that. But, like, we just never stayed in touch, and then I moved away, and then I lost those guys. And, I remember there was this lunch table I sat around. There was these people at the lunch table who would just come around and talk about like memes and stuff. I was just like, man, I love memes. I love talking about spoons rattling, uh, and stuff like that. Whatever memes were popular in 2016. And, yeah, they, I felt like they were my people. I would just, I'd never really say anything at the table. I'd just sort of be there. Like, they were just talking about, like, whatever's been going on. Like, they'll have, like, conversations that just go off the rails. And then I'll just be, like, sitting there quietly eating my food, checking my phone, all that. Never really butting in, but, laughing whenever they said something funny. It's like a podcast, right? Like 7 people on it. And I never really met anyone new at college when I was going there. And then I left after that semester. After that year, I took 2 semesters. And COVID, never really met anyone. And as far as online people go, I've had some people come and, or I'd go out and be looking for people to talk to, and I'd just be like, yo, what up? Or, I'd see if they have like a Discord or whatever. I'd just hop in there and just be like, hey. And then I'd get acquainted with the place, make a few messages, right? Talk about some stuff with other people, maybe play a game. I don't know if I've ever played a game in Discord. Maybe, I don't remember. But, yeah, a few months would go by, I'd be having a bad day, I'd just, go off on a rant. Just sort of go off the rails a little bit, feel bad about it, apologize, and then just be like, I'm just gonna leave this server. I'm not happy being a part of it, and like I just leave. And it always happens. And there are times where I feel like were these guys even my friends? And some of them they were, but like others, every time I'd open my mouth, they'd be critical of everything. Just be like, you're annoying, you know, you never give good advice, you're boring, like you sound like an incel, right? But you know, others, you don't even really think about it as much, sort of take it for granted that they respect you and want to take the time and hang out with you and get to know you and really understand you and feel what you're going through, all the highs and the lows, and you know, share moments and memories with each other. And yeah, that's sort of added to everything. You know, I could never make friends at school just because I was so socially awkward. And then, you know, I mostly just kept to myself. And then I told myself, you know, this is the year, this is where I'll finally break through, right? But it never happens, it just gets worse. But I'm working on it. I'll get it done. I'll have the most friends out of anybody. Oh, uh-oh. Alright, the phone fell over. Still recording, yeah. So, yeah, alright, there we go. What was I talking about? Just like school or something? I never really knew how to talk to people. I tried it out. I tried inviting people over. I tried getting people to come to my birthday party. And, yeah, you know, they'd come and they'd, you know, have some cake and watch me open presents. But, you know, we never really talked with each other or really had a moment where we bonded over something. We just sort of, you know, I was scared. Didn't know what to say. But now that I'm an adult, you know, I realize who gives a shit. Just be whatever you want, and then the right people will sort of magnetize towards you. And it might be starting to work. I feel progress. I feel like I'm achieving something somewhat. And there's still a lot I gotta work on, but you know, it'll come with practice. I love you guys. Please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not a bad person. So, one theme that sort of played out a lot throughout my life is shadows. It's always, you think of shadows in the literal sense. It's sort of an area of darkness, that hangs off of an object, reflects back onto the ground, that little silhouette. You cast a shadow onto something, but it's not the same as just like a reflection of a person. It's sort of you only get the one angle, so you can twist it any way you want. You can make little shadow puppets with it. Shadow. What's the first thing you think of when you think of shadow? Dark, right? Shadow isn't absolute darkness, because then we wouldn't be able to see anything. It's just sort of a place where it's dark enough to see, where there's still light coming in from the ethereal God that hovers above us all, but it's just that little area with angulars and maths and stuff. And so, that's how shadows work, right? But what about shadows in sort of the idiomatic sense? Or, you're living underneath the shadow of someone else. I've always sort of been in my parents' shadow or my teacher's shadow, where it's like, I see them as not equals. They've always been sort of superior. Where it's not just a bunch of adults that are just really kids inside and trying the best they can. It's always like they understand everything, and they're the main characters of their story. I'm the main character in my story. Why should their wants and needs and everything for me have to influence me? I obviously I want to be there for them and support them if I have the opportunity to do so. But what about me? It's something I've had thoughts about. Obviously, like, where do I see myself in the future? What do I want to be doing? And it's like, I want to be doing a lot of things, right? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be an astronaut. I want to drive a crane. I want to drive a semi. I want to drive a forklift. I want to ride a motorcycle. I want to drive a sports car, a pickup truck. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a football player. What can I do right now to, get the same feeling I get if I was any one of those things? And it's not like I can't be all of them. Right? Maybe I can't, I can't be like Aaron Rodgers
or I can't. I can learn how to drive a forklift maybe if I wanted to. They got forklift classes. Yeah, whatever. There's like levers or something. So why don't I do them? There's a lot of reasons. Well, I'm just gonna call the forklift class and they'll just give me a certification right there. It's like midnight. You know, lots of excuses. But, it's just all the stuff I want to do by myself. Right. What do my parents want me to do? They want me to go to college. Just like, boo, I hate college, right? I have to read books and study and sit down in place for a whole hour and take notes, which are all things that I hate. I want to learn stuff, but I don't want to learn stuff the way that everyone else learns stuff. Like, right? Everyone's got their own styles. And what's mine? I could do all those things, right? Forklift and everything. But I only live like 100 years at the most. Probably somewhere like 70 to 80 is closer to, I don't know, maybe 50 with the way the obesity epidemic's been going. I don't know. I can't do all that. How am I gonna pay for all that, huh? I don't have a good job. And yeah, like, and then the question is like, man, how do I find a balance? Because like obviously, I said I'm my own person. I'm not my mom. I'm not my dad. I'm not what they want or need or worked for. I'm everything I want and I need and I've worked for. I know all that. And I've always worked to please it feels good to be recognized. And feels good. And I don't know. I like knowing that I'm gonna go into something feeling better than how I came out of it. 'Cause that's what makes me comfortable. And sometimes I've gotta push my comfort zone. But I can't do it all by myself. I need someone to help me. You know, it's hard to talk to people. But the other thing that has to do with shadows is that, you know, my shadow always follows me around. You know, both in the literal sense and in the metaphorical sense, where it's like all of my past actions, I feel like sort of, you know, whenever I meet somebody, it's that chemistry we have together. It's like an amalgamation of every minute and every second that we've been together and talked and all the things we said. And you know, sometimes we don't get along, we don't see eye to eye. I say something I regret, I blow up at them. Or like they're frustrated with me. Or like, you know, something happens and like, so
I promise myself to
we
treat
just
myself,
can't work
visit
it
a
out. We
nearby
have to take some time apart. Or
and
like
climbing to the top.
maybe we just blow it up entirely and we never talk to each other again.
In an effort to make it clear to whoever
You know?
what it's
Like
like
all
when
those
you're
things and all my
shattered.
reputations with people
Left
sort
standing
of
in the
forms
lurch
one
at a church where
big
people say,
sort of blob.
my God, it's tough. She stood him up.
There's
No
always
point
changing
in
up.
us remain.
Except it hasn't been changing lately because I haven't been talking to a
Might
lot
as
of
well
people.
go home
But
as I
you know,
did on
sometimes,
my
you know, I'll have a moment
own.
where like I just realize I'm
Again,
having a good time with someone
naturally.
and that they make me feel
Think that
good
only yesterday
and I enjoy and
I
I
was
cherish all
cheerful,
this
bright,
time we spend
and
together.
gay, looking forward to who wouldn't do the role I was about
You know,
to
times
play.
and stuff like that. We've been
As
doing.
if to knock me down, reality
So, like,
came
it's always changing. I don't even know
without
what I was
so
talking about.
much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces,
I'm always meeting new
leaving me
people.
to doubt. Talk about God
And,
in His mercy, who, if He really does exist,
yeah,
then why
something
did
I've been
He
trying to work
desert
on a
me
little bit.
in my hour of need? I truly am indeed
I feel like
alone
I've gotten a little
again,
more comfortable.
naturally. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do?
It's good to have, like I feel like I say it a lot. It's good to have people in your corner. Cause like I can just pretend like, you know, I'm in control of my life and my emotions. Like I'm just a man alone, you know, monolithic. But I'm not. I need human connection just as much as the next guy. And that's something I'm not afraid to admit. anymore. Because I can't just sit here pretending like I've never loved anybody or cared. It felt good whenever I've been around someone. And enjoyed the time we spent together.
That there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended.
Right.
What do we do?
What's going on?
What do
Alright, still recording.
now looking back
I like spending time with people.
and whatever else that appears, I remember
You know,
I cried when
why wouldn't you?
wishing
And you know, I used to think it was cool to be all different and contrarian, just be like, I don't need anybody. But I've been lonely.
Despite encouragement from me, no words were
And
spoken. When she
I can't pretend like it doesn't bother me anymore.
I cried and cried all day, alone again.
I guess, you
Naturally,
know, you just gotta keep meeting people and not care about what the haters say and not let the haters get to you and just focusing on you and yours and making sure your people are all accounted for and right, having that network of people that you can really connect with, Beavis. Connect with, that means have sex, Beavis.
No. 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 I'm not having sex with you, baby. I mean, what that? Sorry. Sometimes I forget your name.
That was a funny bit I turned to.
Alright. Oh. Yeah, I think shadows, those suck.
Alright. Night number 3. I felt like throughout my entire life I never really had an idea of who I was. But you know, maybe I'm focusing a little too much about who I am. Or, you know, why should I care that much? I'm thinking, you know, maybe I, the physical form, the body, the chemicals, the memories, the thoughts, the experiences, you know, that's who I am, right? Maybe I don't need to figure out who I am, right? Why should I?
Dumb. Why am I even doing this? If I turn this off? I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, So, basically, like, this whole thing is like, why, right? Because obviously, you have to have a life that you live. You have to be something. You have to exist, right? You have to know that you as a concept is real. Because, you have a body, you have a name, probably. Let's figure out what you want that makes you happy. And our brains have a really good, really interesting way of telling us what we like and what we don't like. It's because things we do like, we get rewarded for doing. But things we don't like, we don't get rewarded for doing. So maybe the way to figure out what your life means is just to live and to exist. Like, why are we making it any more complicated than that? Just live. Right? There's always this idea of, like, you have to balance work and life, or school and life. Like, you have to, you're born, and then you live a little bit, you're sucking on mom's titty, or you're learning how to go potty, or like then you go to school, and then you go through school, then you go to college, and then or maybe you just skip college and go straight to your job. You go to college, you could stay in academia, you could get paid in like grants and stuff and do research for the university and cure cancer, and then get shot 27 times in the back of the head and it's ruled a suicide. Or, you could go to college and you could get paid way too much money to do something really specific. You could use all that money to sustain yourself while you sit home and watch anime all day. There's a lot of things you could do with your life. Just do what makes you happy. Sometimes you just get too caught up in things, and it's hard to escape, because once you do, it means, you're removing yourself from the familiar. Sometimes people are disappointed in you, or sometimes, they might not agree with what you do and they feel hurt by it. It's like, sometimes you can't put a plan together to make sure things go according to plan. Man makes plans and God laughs. But, sometimes I feel like I don't know what I want. Which is dumb. Of course I know what I want. Right? I want to enjoy my life. I want to do something that makes me feel fulfilled. Maybe not fulfilled because, like, it's part of being human is always being dissatisfied with your situation and looking to make it just a little bit better. It's like, maybe just, maybe you're living day to day, week to week, right? It's like, just take things one little itty bitty chunk at a time, and then make sure every one of those itty bitty little bitty chunks are full of things that you can be proud of, or that at least you can take the experience of and apply it to like another scenario and then learn from those mistakes that you made. Think about a time that you did something good. You think like, man, how do I repeat that? Or how do I build on that, right? And that's how it goes. And so maybe you don't really need to find yourself. Or maybe just living is finding yourself. And you're never gonna find yourself. You just sort of, you're there. Maybe God knows who you are, what you're meant to do. But there's always a sort of beauty in rediscovering yourself and changing your life just in tiny little ways. Seeing what works, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like. Seeing how much of that you can cram into 70 years. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I never really go back and listen to these voice recordings. At this point, I don't care. I'm done living in the past. I'm only living in the future from now on. I think I finally, I've been denying it for a while, but I'm not only have I run out of past to dig up and to re-experience. I think I'm finally at a point where I'm starting to come to terms with it and like be at peace with it. For at least this whole pandemic, I've been trying to recreate that feeling of, because, there was like, lockdown and stuff, but like, at the same time, I was a lot more free. Even before then, I started my first semester of college. It's like, I'm more free than ever. When I got my driver's license, I'm like, I feel free. It was like back when I was 8, I learned how to ride a bike, I felt free. I'm trying to get back to that place, that space and time. But now, there's nothing left for me there. There's something about going forward into the future, not thinking about the past, and just accepting anything that comes my way, and not thinking like, man, I could have done this, and instead, just using that as data. I don't even have to consciously, reflect on it that much. It's just instinct. Boom, If my brain could just do that, Man, if everyone's brain could do that, imagine we'd be, we'd be on Pluto by now. Pluto would probably be a planet. We'd launch Neil deGrasse Tyson into the sun, make Pluto a planet. I'm just kidding, of course. I would never initiate violence against Neil deGrasse Tyson. Ooh. That tea made my mouth dry. Had the opposite effect I wanted it to have. Maybe that's just because I'm baked in 420. Right, so school starts. Going back to school finally again for this semester. It starts tomorrow morning. And first time I went to school for college, I took a semester. I was a little cocky, maybe, thinking like I don't need any of this support. I don't need any tutoring. I don't need to talk to the teacher. I don't need I could do this all by myself. I don't need to talk to anybody, study buddies. I can study all by myself. Just brute forcing it. And as a result, I did not get the GPA required to maintain my financial aid eligibility. And I finally got that back because I appealed it. My counselor told me I should, and I did. I was like, wait, it was that easy? Oh, I could have done it the whole time, huh? Whatever, I'm only getting older anyways. I'm gonna be 22 years old this year. Yeah. There's like guys in the NFL that are the same age as me, or younger. So I'm looking at the TV this season. I'm gonna see a bunch of little babies. Yeah. I always thought like that's gonna happen someday. There's gonna be like every singer is gonna be like 5 years old. Like, you know. And right. No time like the present. Truly. And you know, this time I'm gonna learn from my mistakes finally. Ask for help if needed. Remember to stay on top of things, hopefully. Alright. And my therapist, she told me that she thought that I had ADHD. And I'm pretty sure I do. But a doctor said he can't get me in until October at the earliest. And he can't just refer me to a psychologist, but he can refer me to a dermatologist. or an ENT doctor. Because reasons. And then even then, I'm not sure that I could, how long it would take to, get pills that'll make my life easier. I know plenty of pills that can make my life harder. But what about ones that work? Ones that not only improve my cognitive functions, but that I don't need to pay for. Right? Caffeine, nicotine, those things get expensive. What if I only had to pay like $0 for my medication? Then I'll really breeze through school. In other words, it'll make me pretty much awesome. Thank you. Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride. Yeah, that's a good video. Let me look that up real quick. Bronco Country. That's right. A couple years back, I made a post on the subreddit. It was just a Redditor back then, Bacon Narwhal. And I think the post was just saying, like, basically I was feeling really depressed and I didn't have the proper terms or vocabulary to describe how I was feeling, so I was like really vague about it. I was just like, I compared it to like when you have like a sponge that, like you filled up your sink and you left it out overnight, and like there's a bunch of like bacteria and shit that form colonies, and there's a bunch of slime in your sponge, and then like you squeeze it out and it just goes everywhere and it's all gooey and thick. That's how I described what was going on. And I said that I had to, keep getting more and more caffeine just to go to work every day. And so their suggestion was, quit drinking coffee. It's caffeine is gonna hurt your brain and not help it get out of this situation, so you should try and cut down on it or quit it entirely. I think what I heard is it's like 1 cup of black coffee every, I think, week or every 10 days or something like that is okay. But anything more than that, you're just asking to get addicted and then make it control your life. Yeah, caffeine, as you can tell by this series, has been sort of a big theme. You know, gotta keep having more of it. And you know, this, you know, everyone, you know, is talking about, like, you know, coffee, you know, it helped with the Enlightenment, right? And like the Islamic Golden Age and stuff like that. And it's always weird because, like, you know, this stuff like this ruins my life. I'm like so just depressed, and I walk around just in like half alive. It's because of this. The stuff that I can't go without. I guess that was the first sort of drug that I really got into. Yeah. As far back as I can remember. You know, even just like, even back when it was just Mountain Dew, I always had this like weird, like my foot would bounce around just a little bit more every time I drank Mountain Dew. My heart would just beat a little bit faster. My brain would work just a tiny bit better. And I loved it. And man, what I wouldn't do to just go back. Or at least understand, just for a second, how that felt. Remember what it was like to not have all these psychological and physiological dependencies. But I gotta keep it up just until something good happens and I'm out of the loop, out of that vicious cycle of dopamine, and I can make my own dopamine. But I think I found a solution. Every time I think I've found a solution, it's just same old deal. It starts and it goes away. And then the stuff I used to like just gets harder and harder to enjoy or remember how it used to make me feel. That's something I'm to think about a bit. If I knew then everything that I know now, what would I do different? What I would do different is just I knew what I was putting in my body, how it affected it, what I could do to prevent it. And I would do it, or I'd ask for help with it, or I'd get it done. For any road that I take would lead me on the path to being better now. And I know but you can't go back in time. Best you can do is take all those things that you learned and you can make yourself better and put all those lessons to use. Right? It's just what a story this all has been. I started off this show just as good as I'd been doing in my entire life. And I ended it in one of the worst places I've ever been. Every day. You know, I had people around me, but like, I don't know, sometimes it's hard for me to be vulnerable like that. Mm. I don't know if I'm better or worse. Maybe just 'cause I live, I'm worse. But the more I keep growing, and I'm just getting closer and closer to the bottom. Oh.
some good news today. We finally get to see the Packers 53-man roster. At least for now. There might be another trade that happens. Someone gets signed signed off of waivers, and then another guy gets kicked off the team. We still need to find out who's in the practice squad. And all that leading up to the actual beginning of the season. And it's back to football. I remember the first time I had some weed, and my mom let me try one of the little gummies. I had a little half of one. It was 10 milligrams, so I had 5 milligrams of the yeah. The THC was what the sound I was trying to do. And I was just saying, it might take a while to really kick in, but you'll know when it happens. And they say the first time you don't get high, but I was high, like just a tiny bit. Like I get that like sort of deja vu, or that you're sort of living within like a 3 to 5 second period, and there's like a glow around like the 3 to 5 seconds on either side. It's like that little timeline, little meter running through Sony Vegas, and then except it's blurry. I don't even know what I'm describing anymore, or I guess, or no, that's what time feels like when you're high. Yeah, the point was I was watching a football game. Chiefs Broncos Sunday night. Broncos country, let's ride. Yeah,